primarily we are just going to talk about how you can automate your PeopleSoft systems, especially with the new releases, new methodologies which are coming up, where Oracle itself is changing their stance about how they are going to release new bundles, new patches. So that's what this session is more about, wherein which we'll share our knowledge and whatever we have gained with few customer sites, and primarily we are just going to talk about how you can automate your PeopleSoft systems, especially with the new releases, new methodologies which are coming up, where Oracle itself is changing their stance about how they are going to release new bundles, new patches. So that's what this session is more about, wherein which we'll share our knowledge and whatever we have gained with few customer sites. And this to be a very interactive session. If anyone has any questions, please do not keep it within yourself. You can ask the same questions. I'll be happy to answer certain things, and if not, I'll ask my technical team to help us out. Myself, Nanda, I'm part of Kovaion Consulting. Kovaion is a Oracle Alliance Gold partner worldwide, and we primarily operate in UK, US, and India. We are around 60 plus consultants, primarily working on banking and financial sectors and staffing industry. We are member of Oracle User Group and All India Oracle User Group, which is in UK and back in India as well. And we have certain uh, methodologies like people process technology, wherein which we have Inception Lab, more like a research center, wherein whatever new features which comes out of people's also we test and try, do all sorts of activities, getting our hands dirty, I would say, in other words. About me, I'm, as I told, I'm founder and director. I have around 10 years of experience, primarily and almost all the time in PeopleSoft arena. I'm a product consultant. Primarily, my core strength is on HR, HR, global payroll, and time and labor, but also help customers in building their relation with Oracle as well as their supported vendors. And primarily started with uh, Oracle, sorry, PeopleSoft India Service Center, and down the line moved and started this company as well. I'm a certified consultant to talk about sales, pre-sales, but primarily I'm a solution guy, wherein which if there is any issues, so I'll help the customers who they can address those issues. Uh, and that's my professional, but sometimes I play cricket as well, and I play for a club called as Fairlands Cricket Club back in Guildford, uh, near London. So that's what is all about myself. I hope no one has any questions on that. Okay. Uh, the software delivery models, there are certain traditional software delivery models, and it has grown over the years. If you see, one of the primarily used software delivery model is a waterfall delivery model, wherein which you have a requirements phase, design, implementation, and maintenance, wherein the project goes anywhere between 6 months to 2 years, and sometimes it goes beyond that on a pure implementation uh, projects. And then it came the iterative model, wherein your primary focus is on how quickly you can bring the systems up to speed. And then came Scrum, Agile, almost at the same time. Scrum probably later, but all those things, all the new generation delivery models focus on how quickly you can bring the system to the end user. And And then Oracle, like a couple of years ago, they decided, okay, let's change our delivery model as well. And what's the new delivery model? Initially, they used to call us PeopleSoft Lifecycle Management Tools model, or PeopleSoft Outage Manager model. Yesterday, when she gave the presentation on the keynote, she talked about selective adoption. So that's why I took the word from selective adoption from her presentation as well. So what it means is there will be certain releases 2 to 3 times a year, especially on the application side. And primarily the Oracle changed their delivery model to focus on getting the new capabilities to the customer and making sure the customer is up to date with the systems. I'm not going to talk more about it, but the reason why I just have all these delivery models is we have grown from traditional model all the way to the agile model. Similarly, PeopleSoft has also changed their model. So what's a key factor for this presentation? You have delivery every 2 to 3 times a year. Roughly, if you take it, tools being between 15 to 18 months, you approximately have 4 releases from Oracle, which you need to consume it. Either you need to consume it now or you can accumulate it and consume it after a couple of years. You need to consume that. And then you have your normal BAU cycle or business as usual or production cycle, wherein which the developers fix something and it goes through the whole cycle, or you build your new features which goes into the system as well. So around the clock there will be changes in your system, whatever model you adopt, whatever methodology you take it, whether it's Oracle delivered or custom built or some new things which you want to do it, there will be changes in your system. And how you are going to make sure that the system which you are putting in is going to help you. It's testing. Uh, I just like to have a quick audience poll as well, saying that do you think testing is an important phase for new system changes which you will be taking? Just like to say, like, how many agree with that testing is an important phase most? Maybe no one. Probably someone is not here whom I know very well. He just said, nah, don't worry about testing. We just put something and then it will work. If it doesn't work, let's back it out. I've seen certain customers like that, those sort of agile customers as well. So that's the main reason why I want to have those things. So since testing is an important phase in your SDLC model, software development lifecycle model, what are the main things you can do with the testing? So you can do certain tuning in your testing methodologies so you can cope up with the new delivery model, especially the Oracle delivery model, wherein which you have minimum of 4 releases a year. At the same time, you need to have a strong testing pool wherein which nothing slips out and then goes to your production system. And this word is again put by my architect, saying that improper detection before deployment leads to unplanned defend, which is like the production support issues and operation costs. So you need to have a strong testing phase. So if you take a general delivery model, wherein which you take from requirements gathering all the way to the implementation, let it be a traditional waterfall model or agile model, wherein which uh, in all the models you have the phases, but the way it gets arranged is going to be slightly different. So in your normal agile or a normal waterfall model, you'll have a functional specification code which is being built, and then you go to the testing phase. Uh, so what are the important factors you need to consider on the testing phase? Is one is the when you gather your requirements at that time itself, you need to define your testing process. I've been talking to certain customers, especially who did the upgrade, and one of the interesting point which came out was like we didn't know that we need to automate our testing. Half the way in the project only they realized that, oh, okay, we should automate the testing. So by that time you run out of the project timeline, and you need to go with the traditional manual testing model. So you lose certain key aspects of it. So if you start your normal test planning when you gather your requirements itself, so you can have a phased out activities which starts from your test planning, unit testing, regression testing, and performance testing. So, so your test execution, actual test execution happens in your unit testing all the way to your performance testing, but all the planning, all the pre-works, you will be able to do it even before the system gets delivered to you or in line with your system being delivered. So half the way through your development, so you can have the testing also planned and certain scripts being created. And how you can see whether there is a return on investment by doing a initial automation of testing. One is like when you start a traditional manual testing, then for every cycle of testing or every regression type cycle or every time you test the system end to end, you need to spend equal amount of hours. Probably there will be slightly reduction of 5% in hours because the user will get used to the system. They might click the button pretty quickly. Sometimes we need to change that as well because they just click, 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 and they might miss certain warning messages, whatever has been built in the system. So it's going to grow gradually. But if you automate your testing, initially, yes, you need to initially put the efforts, which is the small triangle which you could see between 2 and 4, the brown color one. The brown color one shows the initial effort which you need to use it for building your test cases or test scripts. It's not test cases, test scripts. But once you build it, then gradually your effort for the development goes down. Only there will be only minor execution, and you need to maintain the test scripts as well. Yes, we understand that, but it's not so much effort when you compare to the whole sort of again reinventing the wheel sort of thing. It's just okay, like it has 1,000 test cases. Probably a system changes five, you just can easily change those 5 test cases easily. I'll just show in PTF in a demo as well. So there will be a return on investment pretty soon. And let's say there is approximately 12 testing cycles which you are doing for 1 year to 2 years. So you can actually reap the benefit if there are 12 testing cycles, and by 6 cycles or 7 cycles itself, you'll have a normal or point where it crosses where your manual effort will increase, whereas your automation effort will reduce. So that's what this graph is all about. And we just had a quick details from open world and few customer interactions as well. And again, like these are rough numbers of test cycles which you will perform in any sort of project. If it's a new implementation, like there will be average of 10 cycles of testing, which includes starting from your unit testing all the way to your business acceptance testings. So there will be average, and again it might vary customer to customer, modules intakes, it might vary. And for a normal support, there will be 12 cycles wherein which you just want to run through the transaction at least twice, thrice, especially since you are from global payroll adherent. So you know that you need to do a normal cycle and then put a retro through, run through another cycle, and then you need to put retro on retro and then run through another cycle. So it's again at least minimum of 12 cycles of testing you need to do it to keep the lights on in your system and just deliver new features to your business. So if you consider all of this within a year, you can get the uh, return on investment for the initial effort which you put for your testing or the test script creation. So we just put a quick sort of a matrix table in which you can understand different phases of the testing. I'm not going to the detail, but just at a high level, you'll have different types of testing like unit testing, wherein the developer will just test their code, system integration, system testing, integration testing, regression, business acceptance testing, which are the key testing. And there are certain customers which do the performance and penetration as a optional things. And we just took certain tools which you can use it for to automate your testing. Again, to reiterate, there is no magical or the silver bullet which you can use saying that, okay, if I use this tool, all of my testing can be automated, all my testing issues or testing pain areas will go away. It will never ever go away. You can minimize the effort by using certain tools like unit testing. If you use, and we just put certain tools where in which you can use PTF. At the same time, there are certain performance tools like JMeter, Selenium, which you can use it as well. So whether your test improvement strategy is to automate, if you want to improve, going through all the cycles of your uh, implementation, upgrade, do you, what you can do it to improve your test strategy? Do you really think, or how many of you think by automating the testing activities, I can improve the improve the testing methodology? So one says yes, a couple says, oh, everyone says yes. Okay. So since everyone agrees with it, so how many of you are actually using a automated tool for testing?
A week ago.
Okay.
We haven't yet created any proper scripts for
Okay. Okay, there's one guy actually using it, and two, the second one as well. You're from University of
University of
Manchester. Okay, same one. And looks like all the universities are well ahead.
We don't use testing framework, but we use local
Uh,
performance testing.
okay, so you use certain parts of testing tool. Okay.
No, I mean last week was the first time I ever heard about PCF. So
Okay.
I've got one of my guys
Explore it.
investigating it
Okay.
and speaking to the. I think it's the question I have. Actually, I don't know whether you're going to cover it. Is he's spoken to our DB team who deal with installations, and they have to install PCF. And then is it one installation everyone uses, or do you have to install on your machine? I don't know.
One installation you can use it, but I can show you. Yeah, I mean again, like those are other fancy stuff, but I like to go to the real stuff. Okay, so PeopleSoft test framework as such is similar to your development tool, where you use app designer, configuration manager, and data mover. Similarly, you can install this as a very thin client. It's just less than 6 MB of space, and you can just install it. And we just installed in one of our instance, as Adrian, you pointed, like you can have a centralized repository to have testing being run on different system. Let's say you have a portal. Normally we've seen customers using portal as their test repository, which is thin, and they use to test back to HR, back to financials, and everything gets integrated to a certain system. So it comes in a central repository with all the test cases. And yeah, there is a warning which you can see it. Uh, Actually, to use a PeopleSoft test framework, you need a SSL to be enabled in your system, but we actually bodge the system so that you can use normal HTTP as well. And it works on integration broker. So all the messages, whatever you're sending it from your tool, actually it's actually sending via integration broker, talking to your system via this SSL port. Um, so we have created our own repository of HR, financial, CRM, and for this particular demo, just going to talk about this one. Uh, okay, for implementation, coming to your question, yes, we just need to enable the integration broker on SSL port, in which you can bodge it and then just use it as well. And the second is uh, you just need to have a centralized system only, just to have PTF. And the actual execution of this, or the executables, will be in your normal app designer folder, where in which you have a bin folder which has the app designer. There is a setup folder which has this PTF, which is a small executable. uh, I think most of us might have worked with Excel to CI, wherein from Excel you pass the message to CI using a integration sort of thing. It works the same way. And when I started my career with Peoples of India Service Center 10 years ago, we used something called as PS Script, which used to integrate with a third-party testing tool, and then it used to run every night. And then I used to click a button saying that, okay, you run this, and then go home. Next day, come back and see, like, just still sitting at the third step failed. Uh, this is very similar. And when I checked actually the screens and everything, And when I spoke to a couple of my Oracle colleagues, it's actually derived from that PS script too. And you can again see like certain things showing as PS script, click values, and all those things. Uh, and it's actually as few people think like, okay, the PTF has just came couple of years ago, but actually it's not couple of years ago. It has grown in its internal way, and then it has improved a lot over the years. Uh, Before this demo, like till yesterday, we were using 8.53 PTF, and today morning I just told like, oh no, let's use a 8.54 PTF, and then they were able to build it within a day. And there is a huge difference between 8.53 PTF and 8.54 PTF, which I could see in the application as well. Initially, when we started with 8.50, it just used to be. I'll just show you what it does as well. So basically, it's more or less like a record and playback feature, wherein you record a certain transaction, which creates the script, and then you can play back with the real values, or you can use certain Excel to feed the values, and then you can again collect the results back to Excel as well. Not going to the presentation, but I like to show it on the screen so it's more visualized. Uh, Let me do one thing. I'll just say like I want to create a new test. Um, If I want to create a new test, it just creates a open shell, which gives me, okay, from here I can create a new test, and this good record button, you can use it. Before that, you need to do certain configuration as well in your local systems. So it's very simple. Just give the login credentials, especially user ID and password for connecting to your integration broker. And it's since it's very tightly integrated, it can run all your process scheduler, data move scripts, or anything related to PeopleSoft metadata. It can play with those sort of information. So that's how it is very good. And now in the latest release, now they bring a concept called as persistent variable, which means like you can actually use a Excel to pump the data to a system, and from the Excel you can run the script. So you don't need to in older versions it used to be just show you the how you will record it, so it's pretty easy to visualize as well. As I told, like I just set the home URL which will be used, and then I'll just start the testing. As part of the testing, first you just need to click on the home button, which will initialize a window, or it launches a PeopleSoft home page. Uh, Again, needless to say, it's a Internet Explorer plugin sort of thing, and it uses Internet Explorer only at the moment. But I hope like down the line it helps with mobile as well as your other browsers as well. But you can use it for your regression testing, wherein which your primary focus is on transaction rather than how it looks like in a mobile device, or how the look and feel is going to change. Those things you can use different tool or manual testing.
Are
So
there any restrictions around versions of IE, or is that just dictated by
any IE is fine, but it should be 8.
any IE certified by the tools version? That's
Yes, yes. But I'm on latest IE. It just
and you have to set IE as the default browser on your Windows desktop, so you've got to set Chrome, that's right, otherwise
in no, we don't need to.
they used to have and then it's improved.
Yeah, as I told, like even like if I remember the 8.50, it just uses 4 buttons. It used to be record, start, stop. You don't even be able to pause the test, start, stop, home, and then actually this as just to hook your PeopleSoft sort of URL back to this test recorder. So whatever transaction you're doing, it gets recorded in your script. and then you start your recording, and then you enter a certain value, which is going to log in. Let's say I want to record anything. Whatever clicks I'm doing, as you could see over here, it just changes. Earlier we had certain difficulties, especially when you have the iScripts or else pagelets, but in the latest one, I heard that that's also being resolved, like pagelet loading and those sort of things. Let's say I want to create an employee and a person. And let me use some guy who. I'm just doing a basic transaction just to.
How
Uh,
old do you think I am?
let me put here 2000.
It should be 78 something. Thanks. You
Nah.
should.
And just putting some social number. Uh, and enter. Again, these are all the dummy data. The main purpose of this particular demo is just to make sure to show you how easy you can record the transaction. And I just save it. Even the pop-up, whatever I'm getting, I can just save it. Okay, the person ID is being created. So if I come back, all the script has been already created for me.
So now, is there a way to override the input, to change the depth first, and change the
Yes,
name?
yes. So just
Like a list.
open the one. I haven't saved this test case, so that's why I'm just opening it. So if you could see here, it took whatever data which we have input, and then actually you need to go through a cycle. So that's why I'm just opening one of the test cases which we already recorded. So what it does is you can change all the data, whatever you enter to a variable. And in PTF terms, it's called as persistence variable. So you can record all those, whatever value you want to change it, you can just change it as persistent variable. And then the data for the persistent variable actually comes under um, so you can use whatever data which you could see here, first name, last name, etc. You can actually see it here.
Oh, so there's variable naming.
Yeah, these are the variable names which is in this column, and this is the value. And this is a normal PeopleSoft page. And actually, we created uh, it's not a selling point. I would say like PTF normal Excel to CI, wherein which you can pump the data all the way to your uh, to the actual records, even though like it's online page. End of the day, it resides in a database, wherein which you can use Excel to CI, which wherein which you control whatever data which is being pushed as the test script. So by
John, one more
yes,
question for you. On the system variable, is this page, is there a key for this page?
no, whatever actually while recording, after recording, uh, whatever test we have recorded, we need to save it, and then you need to run through a variable. You need to create a new variable. Like uh, if I try to run it again, if I just save it and run it again, what it does is, let me just save new test. So take some time to save it, but it's saved. If I run it again, it will try to enter the same values whatever we have entered it. Uh, Initial or the old version, what you need to do is that here you need to change the values. Like if I want to just hire as John, yeah. So I need to change it here. This is the like old release where you need to change the values, but now it's not. So what you need to do technically is um, you need to insert a step, and this is like a one-time activity. You don't need to do it again. You define what are the variable values you see it here. Do you see like first name, prefix is twice, which is fine. Like first name, last name, your phone type, business phone number, all these things are variables. So you define as a variable. Mm, variable set value, variable name equal to John, and then use name. So you need to run it like this. So if you run it once, um, what it does is it creates your persistent variable. So the first time you create the variable, so it enters here. So from here you can actually modify it. So you don't need to again go to PTF to change it. So it's like a one-time activity. I'm sure that in future release that also will be sorted out. Right from the first point itself, you will be able to enter as variable.
So this looks like it's a global list. So those,
Yes.
those variables that you're defining there
Yes.
are available across any future scripts that you might record.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that's a concern for me. If you're doing 10 different scripts, you know, one to add a new employee, one to payroll, one to do time labor, whatever, you've got one list with all of the variables in.
No, it's driven by the execute option,
Okay.
which is actually you can control it with various things. One is execute option, mission name. Let's say you are having your totally different missions, wherein your mission is always going to test HR, and Chris' mission is always going to test financials, and you have a centralized system, so it's driven by mission name. I think I skipped that step where in which you can control the persistent variable, execute options. So you can actually control it based on the user ID or mission type as well. If I if it always Alan wants to.
Is that what one person can do? So if I'm doing on the same machine, doing time entry, time labor entry, and the payroll test, will that then be one list?
Uh,
Can I separate them?
you can separate them. You can separate them, and again, like you can use the best practices by separating them to use different types of test cases. So here, if you see, the test case name is KOV, wherein which you can create it, but you don't actually need to do it. Let's say you want to hire an employee, wherein which you give the employee details. Same time you want to enter the timesheet for the employee, you don't need to give the variable as employee name. You'll be giving the variable as date or duration which you are using it. You can control it via that, and you can create as many variables as you want. As you could see here, it's a normal grid, PeopleSoft grid, and you can have as much variables as you want. And for this particular demo purpose, we created 6 variables. And there's one thing which I want to just touch base as well. Like you could see the first name appearing twice. I just want to touch base why we did it twice as well. Uh, Main reason is, again, PTF is a very good tool, but you cannot use it for a performance testing. If I want to hire 10 different employees, I can't do it. But what you can do is, uh, like, I know this is the higher step. So from here to here, let's say this is my higher step. Copy, paste. So copy paste sort of thing. It's sort of Excel sort of thing, wherein which you can say like, okay, now it's going to be variable name one, variable name two, like that. You can keep on changing it. So by this,
So actually, all that's going to do is execute in series.
Execute in series. Yeah.
Basically, a copy of that text.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the tool really is designed to see if the process is working, not designed to put multiple entities at the same test.
It's not for performance testing. I mean, if you want to do a stress load like 10 different systems at the same time, I have another person.
So I see
We'll just go through the regression testing.
idea.
Yeah, this is for primarily functional testing. Uh, after this PTF, I have like a couple of slides how you can handle the performance testing. I'll come back to that as well.
And if you've applied a change and you come back and run one of these scripts for your regression test and it fails, how do you?
Yes.
How's that reported back to you?
Yes. So whenever you create any test cases, you can actually run it through. And then we didn't actually mean to make it fail so many times, but it's pain to work with Windows 8. That's what we have learned it hard way as well. Sometimes it doesn't cope up with few people tools things which is primarily certified for Windows 7 XP. Those are the best operating systems for these things, and the new laptops doesn't provide Windows 7, so it's what. Okay, to answer your question, we tried to just make it fail once to show what happens when the test fails. So the same adding a person, it got executed, and then it failed at one point where it says like some national ID is we have intentionally gave it wrong one. So when we open, so it takes a screenshot and shows like what exactly has happened, those things. And this also you can control it whether you want to take screenshot at every step or just only the failure steps, those sort of screenshots.
So you can screenshot the whole journey all the way through.
Exactly.
If you should.
Yeah. It just kills the system. Yeah. Okay. Just yeah. I don't want to run through it, but I can just run through it. Only thing is, one of the pain area which we are seeing is once you start the testing, even if you stop it, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
What do you mean?
I haven't tried that. I'll just show you while we talk. So what effectively is I'm trying to. Okay, I think I showed you the. If I want to move it, it just goes back to its own screen. Yeah, and that's what it does. Even if I kill it, let me just show you as well. I'm trying to kill it. It doesn't stop.
Right, that's right. Exceeded all the steps, right? Moving.
Exactly. No, I'm not sure whether it's one of the features. I'm sure that there might be options to stop it, or else you can kill it from Windows Task Manager. That's the worst thing, and no one wants to do it.
There was some step execution.
Step execution is there, but step execution is if you want to do it in a recursive loop, you can do it. And one thing which I want to show as well is while the test is being executed, it just keeps on executing.
Although it goes on execute, can you use your laptop and go to other things?
Exactly. You can just leave it, and especially with the new world of like VMs, so you can just run it and then just run it on a VM and then just leave it. And actually, I it would be good if the features are there. If something fails, it immediately sends you an email or something like that. Not delivered out of the box, but you can always do it. It's again, it runs on PS script, which is again a system driven sort of scripting language. You can write your own scripts, but it's again slightly moving away from what Joe is being delivered. And I hope, honestly, when I spoke to Sri Lakshmi, uh, she told like they are using PTF in their own production system, in their own WhatsApp development system. So every day night they just run the PTF and then go home, and then next day they come back and see like what's the result. I used to do that when 10 years back. I used to run the script and then just go home, and then next day. I mean, uh, on a lighter note, it fails many times, but it used to do. It just does it, and it was connected to a testing tool like the Mercury was a old test director one. Now it's being bought by HP. It just works. If it fails in the Mercury, you can set skip step or something. I don't remember on top of my mind. So it just skips that and then goes to it. So if some of the higher fails, you just want to continue with your time and labor, you can just continue it. Okay, so the test has completed, and as I told, like at every point you can have warning screenshots, error screenshots, all sort of screenshots taken at different intervals, which get stored at any point. You can just flush it through and then do it.
Is it easy to pick those screenshots up and actually use them in the document or
Ye-
use them outside of the tool?
Yes, in the execute options, I think. No, actually, it stores a screenshot in one location. I think it's log location or don't remember tools location. Honestly, I don't remember, but I think I have grabbed these things. I'll get back to you on that, especially ask the technical team to look into it. And the other thing, what I want to show is, as I told, like earlier, I just used to have only start and stop, but nowadays I have lots of things, especially even while recording the test case as well. Like you have various options, you can loop it through, which I just saw it today morning. I haven't seen it earlier. Today morning, I just saw like you can add like a if then loop and if loop and then loop it through for the transaction, which might reduce your ways of copy paste thing as well, and you can just loop it through with a variable. That's all about PTF. Do you have any queries before moving on to the next one?
If you've got a set of tests that you want to execute as part of the regression, so we've seen one script, is it
Yes.
possible to kind of group those together and say this is my new join
Well, yeah, yes, it is
set of
possible. It
processes
is.
that I run?
It is possible. It's just on the folder level. You just run it through, and there are certain repos also which you can generate it. Where for that I need to log into the PeopleSoft application and then run it through. But there are certain application engines which you can run it, which will create like a HTML or sort of user-friendly PDF sort of reports
Of
uh,
the testing app.
of the testing output.
Okay.
So,
Right.
if you remember, like the old school days where you have the test case number, description, and then a screenshot, what's success, failure, those sort of reports are already delivered. It's just an app engine which you just need to run it through just to make sure that everything goes fine smoothly. So you can generate reports on back of that as well. I'm sure that Oracle might be already doing it. who knows, down the line, when they release a POM, they'll release a PDF as well, saying that here you go with the sample test cases. Um, and any other questions regarding PTF? So we can go back to the next one. Okay. So I think we talked about how PTF or not just PTF, any automation tool can help you with improving your test strategy. And these are just the basic bullet points. So you will not be able to see the immediate benefits within, okay, I have implemented PTF today, tomorrow I'll get the benefit. No, over a period of time, once your test scripts are ready, once you make sure that you record it, just run it through a cycle, then after that, you will definitely see the benefits, especially with the pump model, where you need to take new system changes, all those things. You need to improve the efficiency. Earlier, PeopleSoft release, even to deploy any changes, you need to go to the system administrators. You need to wait for a couple of days to download and do it. With Pump, it has been made efficient. That's so in the strategy of delivering it to the customer. They are making it efficient with PTFs. And what are the targets which you can do it? Primarily, it's PTF is focused for regression testing, but you can there are other tools available which you can use it for data simulation or load testing as well. I just listed few tools. Actually, the idea was to go with the presentation, but since being a techie guy, I would love to show what is in the screen rather than just going through the presentation. These are various tools what we have seen. There are a few other tools outside this as well. Uh, and PDF is the one which we want to talk about initially, and then how it's being integrated. It was released from version 8.51, and all the data stores in the system catalog, just like your metadata of people's of records, pages, all the data is being stored in your people tool system catalog. So what it means is once you create a test case, you can actually migrate to a system. So let's say unit developer, he creates a test case, and with some changes, actually he can migrate it to your QA team, wherein the QA team can say like, okay, this is the new test case has come.
Are they managed objects?
Manage objects via app designer. So via app designer, along with your normal people code page migration, you can migrate the PTF test cases as well, and everything resides there. And these are various few benefits: record and playback, scrolls. One good thing, whatever I've seen with PTF is it works with scrolls and grids. I've never seen any other tool working correctly with scrolls and grids, but PDF works good. Good to see that. And it's all about test cases or managed objects, which means like you can compare, copy, migrate it to various environments. Ideally, you will not use a PDF in the production environment. You can use a standalone database in which unit test cases can just be migrated to a standalone PeopleSoft uh, database or PeopleSoft application where you can just have it. I've seen many customers just using a people tools copy just to play around with whatever comes in, they just play around with that. So you can use one of that. And it has a robust development platform. So Oracle is also committed to deliver new features with PTF. As I told, like the one which I see in 8.51 or 5 is totally different from what I see today morning. And these are just the demo screenshots, just in case I was worried about the connectivity if it breaks down, and I have a recorded video as well. So I'll share it after this presentation uh, in the forums. And there are certain limitations at the same time. Again, I would say like like any other product that has its own pros and cons, there are certain limitations. You cannot directly use it for simulation testing, especially I didn't was talking about can I use it for load testing? Directly, no, but um, you can use certain best practices to make sure that you can use it for load testing. Instead of using one VM, you will create three VMs and then run it through, sort of thing. But I will come back to open source testing tool as well in a minute. And there are a few other things, especially the mobile. It's not so mobile friendly. You can't use it for mobile based testing. Yes, within Internet Explorer, I can do it, but actually, if I want to do something in my mobile, record it, it's not feasible because it's a Windows based one. Windows phones, you can do it. I haven't tried it, but with Android and OS phones, at the moment, it's not possible. And certain best practices, it's always keep your desktop simple and clean while you run. As I've shown you, like uh, it just runs it without control, so you can't actually do anything. You need to use the same best practices when you record the test cases as well as when you play back those test cases, and have a consistent naming formats. Like if you want to have it, let's say HCM module workforce administration and a higher employee, you try to maintain that sort of structure so it's easy to pick and choose. Like if a new development comes, so I just need to change only the small area where in which let's say a few people are asking about known by name to be grayed out or to be removed. Oracle delivers it. You just change that small piece. You don't need to change the whole the cycle. And that's it on PTF. I'll just quickly go through one of the open source tool which can be used for your performance testing, and we have used it at a particular customer site for automating their loading their system when they migrated from in-house to a cloud system. So they want to make sure that the cloud environment is able to take that sort of load, especially on the AP side. So we created that. Just quickly go through it. Again, the tool which I used is called as JMeter, which is the Apache tool. Open source, it's available, and it's a very small executable which you download from Apache website. I'm just going to okay, testing JMeter, which is just a small executable. As Apache delivers, most of you have seen, they deliver as a RAR file, and then you can just use it. Um, Small executable which can run all sort of HTML testing or web-based testing. This also has a record and playback feature, which is very similar to PTF. So you need to record it, and then you can play back. What's slightly different on the recording perspective, you need to set your Windows browser or Chrome browser as your proxy server, and then you listen to the proxy server from this tool. Uh, I mean, the terms which I use might look complicated, but it's very simple. On your Internet Explorer, uh, connection details on the advanced option, normally you give a DNS server. So you just need to give it as localhost and a particular IP. And in JMeter, you just come and say like, okay, listen to that IP, whatever I've given. So it just works. So in this particular test, what we have done is we just created just quickly go back to testing, test cases, financials. So what we have done is similar to whatever we create in PTF, we create in JMeter as well. So you can use PTF for your normal testing and JMeter for your regression testing. So in this particular example, what we are going to show is we are just going to create certain invoices or regular invoice entry. If I want to create, so this also takes a CSV input similar to your PDF. PDF, you need to slightly manipulate your Excel files to make sure it behaves like a test script. But this one you just create it. And one key thing with JMeter, especially on PeopleSoft environment, is um, PeopleSoft in the new model they use a session ID as one of the key value to make sure that if you have 3-4 browsers, 3-4 different environments being open at the same time, they use session ID to monitor like which session you are using. So out of the box, JMeter doesn't record it, but when you are using it, you just need to make sure that you create a session argument, ICS ID, which is Integrated Session ID, which will be maintained for the whole session. Just one of the learning which we have done from our previous rollout to certain customers, especially like if you are using one ID should log in as PSPS, the second one as VPO, third one as XYZ. You need to maintain different sessions for those things, so you need to look into it. And normal run, you just give a file name and what are the variables which are being used similarly, and then all the way in the login, you just give it as the variable whatever you have created. I'll just quickly run it through. Uh, just just run it through. I've already recorded it, and actually it gives a sort of tree structure saying that what is happening when I run it through uh, graphs as well as response time graphs. So if I want to try, system is just responding. So as you could see in the other file, so there were three person trying to log in. It just tries it again. This is again a different tool. Just shows what is happening. Unlike PTF, you don't see the actual browser doing the transaction. It just runs behind the scene. It just gets the data, does something, and then runs back. And actually, good thing is, certain if you want to create some values, you can actually uh, try to scroll through and then you see what the data has been written by PeopleSoft. So if you're a good techie, then you can actually don't even need to go back and see whether the invoice is being created or not. From the scrolling itself, you can find out, okay, this is the invoice number which has been created. Logically, you can run it through the system. And aggregate graph, which just shows how the system is behaving. Wherein the first is login, how much time it takes. The second is clicking a page, those sort of things. And you can do it. The response time graph also it says like what's a login time, what's a response time. There are various reports which you can do it, and you can save it, or since it's a raw data, you can always take it out and then use it for your other purpose. Especially you can actually this is one of the raw data which I just show. So this sort of raw data you will get it, and you can manipulate it or integrate with your any of your analytics tool, and then you can say like where is the pain area, where exactly I need to address it. So this is all about PDF. I'll just quickly go through this one. It will run through and then it just shows similar to PTF. If this fails, also you'll get a red warning saying that this has failed. You need to look into it. Those sort of things. And demo screenshot. I just took it just in case if I'm not able to show it. Similarly, it's open source, Java platform independent, and there are certain limitations. Especially we always face issues with the uh, scroll or grid selection. If I want to select the third scroll or a third item in the grid, you will not be able to easily select it. So you need to slightly modify the JMeter out of the box JMeter to do that. And it has certain issues with the Ajax. Like if you're writing a JavaScript on the Ajax side on the web browser to manipulate something which is getting displayed, then you will not be able to do it because JMeter, what it does is whatever the web server is sending the data back to a browser, it gets recorded, but certain Ajax call in your browser the data gets manipulated. So those sort of things you will have certain limitations. And we have done it with two customers. One as a proof of concept customer for a staffing customer in UK, and the other is actually a infrastructure managed services company back in India. So they use it, and proof of concept we didn't have it, but we learned a lot from both of the customer. And just a quick summary of what we have done in terms of number of test cases or how much time. What are the things we tried to do it. As I told, the primary objective was to move the systems from the in-house hosted servers to the cloud. So they want to make sure that everything is fine. And that's it from my side. Any questions? Yes.
Yes, mentioned before, we're just getting into using PTF.
Okay.
Just a question really about the structure. So if you're a developer as well, a development project as well, create two new components process, for example, or three different objects. Would you do three different tests? You will as a kind of best practice thing. So you do a test per component or test.
Yes, I prefer to do it as three different tests because that will handle all your uh, different combinations as well. And actually, you can merge it as well at one point if you say like 1 month or 2 months down the line, if you see that system to be pretty stable or that those components to be pretty stable, and just merge it everything to one test case, and it's easy to do that.
And the other scenario I was thinking of is if you've got a communication thing, so you're finding communication against a person on one component and then you execute the communication. So you've got a kind of a workflow scenario there. Would you separate those into two tests or would you
Okay, I mean,
together?
so in that component, those are three. Those are not three different components. Those are all tied together.
They could.
Yes.
Okay.
So in that case, it's better to have it in a single component.
Okay.
If you, let's say, I want to hire a person at the same time, I want to do something on HR side. Let's say time and labor. I created one more field. So it's totally different cases. So it's logically it makes sense to have it in a different test cases, but in your case, it's start to end. There is one single transaction, so it's
So
better
you
to
know
have
those different components.
single transaction. Yes, and I think in the JMeter, whatever it's running, we did the same thing. Like actually, over here, it creates a regular entry, which is a regular invoice, and then it signs out and logs in as a manager, and then again approves it.
Okay.
So this is the transaction flow which we did. Same thing we did for PTF as well, saying that log in as a person, you create a regular voucher, you save it, log out, come back to your work list, uh, click on approve. I think we did only approve those sort of things. Um, Thanks everyone, and you can share your feedback as well.